trying to figure out how to do some editing and voiceover on my iPhone. So I've got a bunch of clips here. Here I am heading towards the what is it? The Eagles Lodge, where they had the Frankenstein comic book swap. Unfortunately, a lot of my footage did not come out the way I thought it would. Like, a lot of it was in my pocket or showing the back of my hand. So I just have a teeny bit of this Frankenstein comic book swap footage for you. Here was the line to get in. And then here is part of the area where they had the comic books. It was very crowded. There were actually quite a lot of kids there, although obviously a lot of middle-aged men too. But you don't see the kids on this video. And so I'm really sorry I didn't shoot more of it. Maybe the next time I go, if I go another time, I'll do a better job.
Boulevard.
So since I got so little of that footage, I thought I'd just throw in some other kind of street scenes and stuff. This is Hawthorne Boulevard, which is one of the sort of neighborhood hubs of a neighborhood, and one that a lot of out-of-towners might come to visit, although some other neighborhoods have now become hipper than this one, although it used to be the hippest at one point. As you can see, it's not really that hip.
Stores,
And not a whole lot of lovely architecture or anything like that.
Yes, it's a little more.
But anyway,
towards local, a little more
excuse me.
local than some.
I'm just sitting in my car and staring at my phone and trying to talk to it. But I don't know. I sort of feel like there's some kind of myth of Portland that is way exaggerated. And a lot of people are maybe moving to Portland. People with a lot of money are moving to Portland because they believe certain things about what Portland is like.
So,
and are perhaps in the middle of trying to force it to become that.
I guess try to call together a bunch of little Portland.
I think originally the reason why Portland kind of had a lot of what would you call it? You know, what maybe you're now calling hipsters, but a lot of artistic and freaky type of people is that Oregon just has a general strong streak of individualism, and that made it an open place for people who wanted to try different things and do strange things and just be themselves, allow them to move here. And then that's kind of snowballed into some other kind of reputation and some fantasy of some liberal haven and stuff. And yeah, it's liberal, but it's still kind of a normal American city, really, as far as I can tell. So, but now it's being transformed even more by this different group of people who are these really, really well-paid, super successful people who are moving here and wanting to reshape the town into their image. We'll see how that goes. Mostly it's a lot of buildings being torn down and fancy-ish buildings built in their place, not particularly great buildings. Anyway, I guess I should be, that this street has a lot of bars and boutique kind of shops for clothing. And here I'm trying to get a shot of, there's the Baghdad Pub, which is a movie theater and pub. One of the first ones I ever knew about. I'm trying to get a shot of Powell's Books on Hawthorne. Powell's Books, City of Books downtown is like the biggest bookstore I know of. And here's a smaller sort of satellite store, and I thought I'd show you the inside a little bit. I used to go to Powell's all the time, and I bought most of my books here. And the great thing about it is they had used books next to new books on the shelf, so you could decide what you wanted to buy. And you could sell your books to them, and I used to sell my books to them for credit. Now it's very hard. Last time I tried very hard to get them to buy very much. There's a poetry reading here. There's all the freaky poets sitting around, about all 20 of them. This is the sci-fi section. Now I switched over to the children's section. So anyway, but I don't really spend that much money here anymore because even their used books can be more expensive than new books online with discounts and stuff. And I just kind of feel guilty going into Powell's. Every once in a while I'll still buy books there. But this shop was always about a mile from my house, so it made a nice kind of evening's walk after work before I had kids. I'd walk over to Powell's and check out some science fiction books, look around. And got me a little exercise in the evening, and then sometimes buy a book and walk home, sometimes not buy a book. Back there I sort of showed you there's a little coffee shop in Powell's too. So that was really nice, and really nice to have that near my house. So I should support it more and buy some undiscounted books there. I do still buy some, especially for my daughter. So a completely different part of Portland. Here we are at a Blazers game. The Oregon Blazers, Trailblazers, I guess is their full name. We don't go to live basketball games that often, maybe once a year. And part of what they do is they have some event that your kids are involved in. So my daughter danced before the game started, like a half hour before the game started. The third, fourth, and fifth graders from her class all danced to 1950s rock and roll. I decided not to show you the video of that in case any of the parents of those kids would not want their kids up on YouTube. But here's some little halftime or quarter time game where they have a contest to knock each other over. We ended up in the nosebleed seats, so I think in a moment I'm going to hold up the camera and show you how high up we are. It's kind of exciting. We also go to some women's professional soccer, the Thorns here in Portland, and I have to say I like that much better because there aren't so many gimmicks to try to get tell the audience when to cheer and stuff like that. The audience still cheers a lot, but it kind of makes the audience more passive with all this kind of showmanship and prefabricated audience participation. I like watching soccer a bit more than basketball. If we had a professional football team, I might save up my dollars more to go out to some live sporting events, but we do not have that. We've got a men's professional soccer team and a women's, and the Trailblazers basketball team. Okay, this is not too far from where I work, on a morning walk that we take on our coffee breaks, me and some of my coworkers. And I was trying to film all the crows that were following us, because one of my coworkers likes to feed the crows peanuts. And sometimes there'll be like 30 or 40 crows following us around. But I did not succeed that well. Welcome to a master class in documentary filmmaking. So here I am trying to film my walk at lunchtime, or part of it, the last bit of it, as I head towards Jet Set Coffee House, where I most frequently go for my comic book lunches. If you follow me on Twitter, you might see me posting the comic books that I'm reading at lunchtime. 1 to 3 days a week, instead of going on errands at my lunch break, I will find a place to sit down and read comics. And Jet Set is one of the most pleasant places to do that because the proprietor of it likes comic books, and you actually hear him talking about comics and other geek cultures with a lot of his customers. So that makes it, that was the first place where I felt kind of comfortable reading comics in a very open way. I also will go to other spots to do that. I used to have on sunny days, I used to have a picnic table that I would go to that I found in a secluded spot in the industrial park. But someone got rid of that picnic table, so you haven't seen me do videos there in years. And that's because I don't have that spot to go and read anymore. There is a picnic table for smokers near my own building. So there, now you can sort of see Jet Set Cafe here. I'm about to walk in, so I shut off the camera. Now I'm showing you my little box where I carry comics that I read in, and the spot where I'm sitting at Jet Set today. There's a little wall thing. The concept of Jet Set is that it's all about this TWA terminal in New York City. Anyway, they also have, in this little hallway to the bathrooms, they have some comic book stuff hanging up, so I thought I'd show you that. So there you get, it's a small little cafe. I usually get a bagel and some coffee or some tea or a hot cocoa, and I usually read about 3 comic books.